Welcome to another episode of No More Yes Girls, where we, your hosts, Vivian and Vianney, talk about our healing journeys.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to
Hello.
another episode. Hi, sister.
Hello, hello.
Some crazy weeks, huh?
Oh my gosh, it's been so busy. So busy. I can't believe I probably said this in every episode, but man, the time is going by so fast.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah, it
believe
is.
we're almost at the end of the year already. It's already getting dark at an early evening. Oh, it's just an adjustment.
Yeah, I know. But at least we're all healthy. So
Yes,
let's be grateful
yes, yes,
that
yes,
we're healthy,
always.
doing what we love.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
so interesting. So I wanted to talk about something very interesting. So I mentioned in the last podcast regarding how some people continue to make the same mistakes because they are categorized that way.
Mhm.
So, what do you think about that? Have you had any experiences like, or have you ever seen people, or have you ever gotten to know somebody like, this is not who they say they are, or this person really has not seen who that, their potential.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about potential, there's a lot of us, including myself. There's a
Mm.
lot of us who people will tell us or will compliment us, and but we always reject it. We always reject it because
Yeah,
we don't feel deserving of it. And
yeah,
that's something that I mean, I personally am still working on because now I'm considered a content creator. Now I'm considered a podcaster. Now I'm considered an entrepreneur. Whereas
hmm,
earlier this year, I was a clinical nurse supervisor and been doing that for years beforehand. And
yeah,
before that, I think I was a medical assistant for a couple years before that. And then before, so it's all a transition and it's all accepting the career choices or the choices that we are choosing for ourselves and going and moving forward with it. But nobody really talks about the transition of it. And it can
yeah,
be kind of challenging because I believe I said this in a previous podcast. Like imposter syndrome is so real.
hmm,
It's so, so real. Like there's times where I even question myself, like, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, what am I
yeah,
doing? I look so ridiculous. And I'm judging myself hardcore. I'm judging myself and I'm over here thinking the worst of me. And I'm over here thinking, oh my gosh, people are not going to like this. People are not going to see this, or they're not going to, what am I doing? Why am I putting myself out there? Like, it's just, I get into a whole negative state and it shouldn't be that way. On the contrary, I should see it as growth
yeah,
and people who haven't seen me, talked to me in years, or I haven't spoken to in years, probably have that version of me from back then still stuck in their heads, where if I talk to them now, they wouldn't believe what I'm doing.
right. Yeah, exactly.
So, so I mean, heck, I still can't believe that I'm doing all of this.
So did you ever have like a time where you were like, where people were, would tell you, hey, why are you doing that? Or, well, why don't you just continue nursing? Or,
Oh yeah,
why are you doing
yeah,
your cooking channel? Pero te la creíste? Como empezaste a dudar, like, wait,
I
am I
did.
doing the right thing?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
huh?
because people have told me, and this is people close in my circle,
Yeah.
they've told me, why are you starting a cooking channel when there's so many out there?
Hmm.
Why are you going to be doing, there's already a lot of people doing that. Like why are you going to do it? You're just going to be another one of those people.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would bring me down. But I knew they were saying it out of comfort and out of protection because they didn't want people to hurt my feelings or making myself
Mm,
making myself o haciéndome el ridículo por decir.
yeah.
And but I think it was more out of it wasn't it was more out of love the way I perceived it because I know the people that told me they're like the least judgmental person people
Yeah.
and but I knew they were saying it from protection like they just didn't want because they seen a lot of because people can be very harsh they
Yeah.
I so harsh and some of these comments and messages are just like I still can't believe people actually have the nerve to say what they have to say. But again, it's all part of the package and it's all part of the deal. Um, but I actually really embrace it now. So then when I started doing my cooking channel, I wanted it to make it different. Yes,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of people out there doing the same thing and probably cooking very similar. And yeah, they're much more popular than I am. There's going to be room on the top for all of us.
Everybody. Uh-huh.
And I mean, I follow all those people too. Like I follow a lot of the cooking channels that inspired me actually to do this. But I always wanted to do it different because I'm unique.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
unique, and I can bring something that not a lot of people will have the guts to do it.
Yeah.
And and I always thought to myself, like, I want to cook these meals not only because I enjoy doing it, but I want to show people what it means to me. The reason why I do all of this cooking, all of these dishes, or all of these posts is because there was a moment in time where that was all we were able to afford to eat. And
Hmm.
yes, it was the same thing over and over again. And yes, it was a it was hard growing up. Um, so I always referred to a lot of these dishes as a time in my life, what it meant to me.
Yeah.
And now that I cook it, or now that I'm actually doing it, because I mean, gracias a Dios, I'm in a very great place where we're not struggling whatsoever. Um, but I still cook them because it brings me back to my humble
Comfort.
beginnings and it brings me comfort. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it brings me a lot of comfort. And it's like, wow, if I wouldn't have gone through anything or through all the things that I've gone through, like these dishes were always there.
Hmm.
It doesn't when we were broke, when we were not broke, when we didn't have anything else to eat, when we had family gatherings, traditions, like it were all these meals were the same.
The same.
And
Yeah.
it's they never left my side.
Hmm.
And that's what I wanted to bring to the table on my cooking page. And that's where I started to blow up because I was putting myself in an authentic place and in a very vulnerable place too. Because every time I write these posts, like, and people don't know this, but every time I write these posts, like it brings me a lot of healing and I get very teary-eyed about it too, because it brings me in a whole different emotional state where, gosh, I made it. Like
Yeah.
I never would have thought like the little girl or the little child inside me or the one who was always by herself actually is living one of her dreams.
Hmm.
And it brings me a lot of comfort too because it brings me a lot of memories of my grandmothers who are no longer here, and it brings me memories of family, and it brings me memories of just being back home. And but I take it more as a comforting meal now. whereas it's not a necessity anymore. And it's just it's always a great reflection that that I go back and look at my videos and see like how I did, because I've been doing this for about a year now, and see how I started at the very beginning to now, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my social media just blew up like
Yeah.
that. And it's just it's crazy. It's crazy because now I'm getting brands and partners and sponsorships that I grew up with, and now they're paying me
Yeah.
to post my story or like stuff like this that so many people can relate to. And
Yeah.
it's just it's again, and sometimes that imposter syndrome can just creep up on you, and I have to literally just put myself on check, because it's also my, at the end of the day, it's also my work. And but it's a potential that I thought I never had, I guess you can say. But apparently other people saw all of that, because people have always told me, you should start a social media. You need to start social media. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I would watch your videos and I would do this, but it's like, I don't know. And it took me a couple of years until I finally decided to just go for it.
Yeah.
And right when I went for it, I think 6 months after, that's when I started blowing up.
Yeah.
And it's again, and it's I still can't believe that I'm doing this. And I know my family, I know you guys still can't believe. I remember you would text me like, oh my gosh, your video is going viral.
Yes. We would be so excited and rooting for you. My kids and I, have you seen your tia? Have you seen your tia?
And I've gotten celebrities following me now, and I've
Or
gotten celebrities,
commenting.
yeah, commenting and
Yeah.
reposting. And it's like, what? Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought in a million years I would do something like this?
Yeah.
And I still, hasta la fecha, I still can't believe that I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And yeah, so with this podcast, this was another venture that I've been wanting to do too, with you. So I'm super excited to see where this is going to lead us to. But I'm more excited for you because I mean, I've had that already momentum with my cooking page. Like, I can't wait for
Uh-huh.
you to have that momentum with this, because I know this is something that you're really enjoying, and I can definitely tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, for me, it's just,
I told you you would.
yeah, I know. Well, I just think for me, it's just the simple fact that I'm sitting here and just doing it. I mean, that's already a
Yeah,
win for me.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
and yeah, I'll sit back and the same. I'll sit back and I'm like, I'm really doing it. Like,
yeah, yeah.
because it took a long time. I mean, it took a couple of
Hmm.
years for me to get,
Hmm.
here and be comfortable and, be able to talk and be able to show my face and, because yeah, my kids, they do it all the time, they have their social medias and, you take pictures and stuff like that. But, to actually sit here and then open yourself to so many people
Yeah.
and be vulnerable is
Hmm.
something very
It
big.
really is. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but again, thank you, because we've gone through a healing journey. I don't like the
Hmm.
comments. I've read some of the comments that you get and I'm like, holy smokes. But
Yeah.
you know what, it's very rare. And I think it's very rare, one, that you get those type of comments, is more the good comments you get. But it's very rare for me to go in and look at comments because I don't think I pay attention to the noise. So
No,
for
you
me,
don't.
it's like I
Yeah.
don't even, some of the comments that usually will pop up like in our account, it's because you're like, oh, did you read this comment? Es porque rara la vez, like, me metí to read the comments. But other than that, it doesn't even, I don't know, no me da por, to go in and read comments. I know the good ones, it's just like, they're mostly the good ones that come up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
I think it's just more
mhm.
like don't want to spend energy on negative people. It's more like, oh, I'll just skip that one. go to the next.
Yeah, and for the comments, it's a lot of engagement. Like I personally like to engage with
Hmm.
people and getting to know them and vice versa. So this is why we go through the comments and we answer the more positive and the more or even like the more challenging one, challenging ones in a way where I can also see where they're coming from and their perspective,
Yeah.
but they're not, you can tell they're not being like rude or their intentions are not trying to be rude anyway. Those are, I mean, I don't care. So the rude ones, I actually embrace it and welcome it because that boosts our content. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
people will actually answer those type of comments for you.
Hmm.
Like you don't
Yeah.
you don't
I've
even
seen
have
that.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't even have to answer, you don't have to reply. Other people will do it for you and they'll gladly do it for you.
Yeah.
And what happens? Our engagement goes up, our content starts being pushed out, more followers, more shares, more likes, more reshares or whatever. And and yeah, that's ultimately something that and people are not going to agree with you. There's always going to be
Yeah.
people that are not going to agree with you, and that's okay. There's people that may agree with you that are neutral, and that's also okay. Like, I'm not here to please
Yeah.
everybody. We're not here to
Yeah.
please anybody. We're just sharing our life story. We're just storytelling and sharing our experiences. And whoever wants to join and listen, great. And whoever unfollows or doesn't like it, then so be it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Then,
mean,
yeah.
even you and I don't agree sometimes. So that's like, todos somos diferentes. Like that's,
Yeah.
we all have an opinion and, you know,
Yeah.
but there's ways of communicating.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference when, some people, and I'm pretty sure they, we can trigger something in some people. And so the first
Hmm.
thing they do is, start typing. And
Yep.
so, I mean, that's understandable, but I'm just kind of like, I'll read the comments, but it's just, I don't pay attention to those. I'll just skip them. But yeah, Cassie, it's very rare when I do. You're the one who usually is constantly, you're the brain behind all that social media. So
I'm the
yeah.
system behind the system.
Yeah, you're the system behind the system. So just so you guys know, that's how it works. Um, but yeah, no, but going back, at least for me, uh, I have been told a lot that I wasn't ever going to amount to anything. And I kind of lived that way, thinking that about myself. Like, why am I even going to do this? I'm not even good at it anyway. Or people are going to say I'm not good anyway. Or, it's just that judgment all the time because when you receive that type of, um, what's the word?
Criticism,
Uh,
judgment.
like that type of judgment at such a young age, pues te la crees,
Yeah.
and many people think, or I've seen that, and the people that I've talked to that are not ready to heal, uh, they honestly think that they've never had any trauma and that was so normal.
Yeah.
And it's like, just wait when
Yeah.
you hit, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
tell them, but I'm like, because they're not ready. They're
Yeah.
not ready to deal with it. They're not
Yeah.
ready to see, to face it.
Hmm.
And so when I go back and I think about it, I'm like, it was so many years of that, of I wasn't worth it. Why am I going to do that? Like,
Hmm.
I should only be, at home taking care of my kids and my husband, and that's it. And being a mom at such a young age, it's like, well, I remember high school. I wanted to go back to school, but I had a child already, and I was told, no. Why are you going to go back to school? You already have a child. You need to go to work. It's like, but I want to finish school. And that was the first time where I went and thanks to an aunt of mine. She helped me get back into school, and I was able to graduate on time with and I think I said this before, with my class, and my daughter was 5 months old. And that's where I proved to myself and to my family that, hey, it's not impossible and I can do it, but it's still, it replays in your mind. I mean, that was,
No.
now I know that that was the first time where I proved to myself and to everybody that I was able to do it, but it's still, I wasn't ready for the healing.
Hmm.
So it was the constant, well, yeah, because I had a child and nobody's going to want me. And it was just like talking down to myself all the time
Hmm.
because that's what
Hmm.
people did um, while growing up, and that's where last time that I said, it's like when people make mistakes and you get labeled because you made a mistake and then you can't get out of it because people still know you for that. And then you continue doing the same thing because, pues, ya ni modo, I mean, that's what they think about me. So it doesn't matter whether I do good or not. I'm
Hmm.
still going to be that, that person to them.
Hmm.
And it's so hard to get out of that mindset. It took me years to get out of the mindset,
Yeah.
you know? And so, y es por lo mismo, like, well, I don't think I'm worthy of doing it, or I don't think I deserve it, or what makes me special. When in reality, each one of us is our own person, our own way of thinking. We can do whatever we set our minds to do, and we deserve it because we work for it.
Yep.
And it's just because I know también a lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of people where they are constantly judged, even trying to do
Hmm.
the best thing, pero they always see the negative. It's like, por más que they try to, like, I mean, they can be doing so good, but they're always met with, ¿y para qué? If you already did this and you did that, and you already, why are you doing it now?
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, we all deserve to change. We all deserve the second chance. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's going to take 4, 5, 6 chances, but as long as somebody sees that and, helps us or motivates us or just sees the good in our heart, that helps a lot, and it helps you to start healing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just something, I mean, I went through it, and it's just, um, I know to recently, for me, you were a big part of that, of showing me who I was. And I am so grateful for you. And and I tell my husband all the time, I go, my sister, for me, I think this is why we have a very good relationship, because the respect you have for me, or you have for me, is just beyond anything. Because it's like you've always tried to make me feel like, hey, you're worth it.
Hmm.
And always, hey, you did it. Hey, you're doing great. And you try to be there all the time, like, trying to motivate me, trying to see me for me and all the greatness
Yeah.
that I had within me,
Yeah.
and I recognize that. And I am truly blessed that you're my sister, and I'm grateful for you, because I mean, las veces que te he necesitado, you're there. Like, there's no, you know, excuse for not being there,
Yeah.
and that's something big in my life that not a lot of, especially family members, can understand that, or can be that person for you,
Hmm.
or can see past, your mistakes, or exactly who you are.
Yes. Yes, because I would see it how it would affect you too
Mm-hmm.
when we were younger. And like you just felt like you were not meant to be somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And you never told me that. But I've always felt it. I've always felt it, and the way you would talk, and you would just be like, "No, well, it is what it is." Or,
Yeah.
"No, well, ni modo, ya que." And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, if you can just see your potential.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
of course, I wouldn't say that because, um, you weren't there. You weren't there. And
Yeah.
it helped me understand you in a different way. And it helped me see how I can help, or at least give you like little nudges here and there.
Hmm.
But I didn't want to pressure you into doing something you didn't want to, or I would just be like, well, hey, like, or I would actually show you like, hey, you know what? There's bigger things out there. Like there's stuff that we can that you
Yeah.
can, like, I just wanted you to see how I was living and how I am, because you could have done the same thing too. You could do the same thing too.
Hmm.
And it didn't matter what your role is, but I wanted you to focus on yourself because you were not focusing on yourself. You were too
Hmm.
busy focusing on everybody else,
Hmm.
and that would leave you drained. And I
Yeah.
would see it. And I would see it. And I mean, even with the panic attacks and even like with all of that, it's just I as much as I wanted to, or as much as I was there, I knew I couldn't do much more because you were not there yet.
Hmm.
And you didn't see that for yourself yet. So what would be the point of me telling you like, hey, you would probably feel judged. You would
Yeah.
probably feel um even
Misunderstood.
more, yeah, misunderstood,
Hmm.
or even more worthless, and or being criticized by me. And
Yeah.
it's I didn't want you to feel that I was criticizing you at all. On the contrary, I there's no competition between us.
Right.
And 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 it's really nice to actually experience that, because I know there's a lot of families out there and a lot of people who
Yeah.
have like that invisible competition within
Yeah.
siblings, or rivalries within sisters or siblings in general. And we never had that. And from ever since I can remember.
Yeah.
So it's like I wanted to cherish that, because um I've never felt competitive by you. I've never felt judged. Like we were just two different people trying to figure it out in a different way.
Yeah.
And yeah, even though and it took us a while to get closer, but of course we had to go through some stuff in order to be where we're at now. Um, but I can, going back to what you were saying at the beginning, like being not misunderstood, but having like that one person believe in you, change or motivates you to become better. Like
Yeah.
it is real. It is real. Like it
Yeah.
really honestly just takes one person to change your whole perspective, to change your whole mindset, to change your whole mentality on
Yeah.
life. And actually realize like, wow, I do have the capability or the potential of becoming something or becoming someone, or doing something for myself, not because of the mom role, the sister role, the daughter role, the translator,
Hmm.
the how you have to be there for everybody person. No, 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 no. Be there for yourself. What is something that you always wanted to do, but you always put it in the back burner because you were busy putting other people in front of
Yeah.
you? And it's like, no, let's get back to that. What happened to that?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
let's get back to that point, because that's where survival mode hits. That's where um burnout lives. That's where um being lost in transition is. And you do not want to get to that point. Like
No.
I do not want to be in survival mode anymore. I do not want to be living in burnout. I do not want to rush anything anymore. Like it's just, I am so drained and so
Yeah.
exhausted. Now I look back and it's like, how did I live that way? Why did I live that way? And it's like, we can always change it. But of course, nobody teaches that. Nobody teaches us
Yeah.
how to do that, because we would see it with our own family members, our parents, or even our significant others. And it's going back to just having that one person believe in you. And if you don't have that one person believe in you, ask yourself, look within yourself, because I ended up doing that. I had to
Yeah.
look within myself in order to believe that I was capable of doing something bigger than what I was able to even imagine.
Yeah. 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 And that's why I think that there's a lot of people that don't, they don't change.
Yeah,
They're comfortable where they're at
it's
because
comfort.
that's who they've, people have always seen them that way. That's the role they took. That's, who they are. That's the mask they have on. And it's easier to hide behind it because everybody knows it than it is to come out and be who you truly are.
Yeah,
Because it feels like the whole world's against you. It does
yeah,
feel that way. And so it sucks, but if you can actually be that person for somebody and just look at them, most of the time all they need is just someone to look at them as a person and not
hmm,
as a mistake
yep,
or as the mistakes that they made. Just to look at them and see them for who they are, regardless of anything that they've ever done. Just look at their heart,
yeah,
because most of the time, we put up walls. We put
hmm,
up walls so that people cannot see who we are,
hmm,
pero con poquito que le des atención a alguien y lo mires tal igual como un humano que comete errores, like that touches their heart, and those walls start coming down brick by brick, because then they're like, hey, you know what? They actually saw me,
hmm,
they saw me for me. And I think that that's
yeah.
what we all need nowadays,
Oh, for sure.
to start being more human.
Yeah, especially because I mean everybody is going through something. Everybody, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Every single person is going through something that they do not talk about.
Yeah.
And they're not going to talk about most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's literally just trying to be humane about it and actually take take the time to check in if you can. You can feel when their intention is pure
Hmm.
and genuine.
Yeah.
Like you can definitely, like when you're having conversations with people who say, "Oh, well, I'm worthless," or people always judge me because I'm always doing mistakes, or I really don't care anymore because for them I'm just another mistake. Like if you actually sit down with those people and have a genuine conversation without judgment, without criticism, without um having a say, just hear them out. Hear them out. 9 times out of 10, they're going to talk with their heart on their hand
Yeah.
because it's genuine. And after
Hmm.
that conversation, I bet you anything, they're going to say thank you. They're going
Yeah.
to say thank you for hearing me out because nobody does.
Yeah.
Or nobody has
Yeah.
the time to, or nobody has ever wanted to actually sit down and talk to me.
Yeah.
And that relationship with that person can change instantaneously.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
for the better. Most of it, it's for the and most of it is for the better.
Yeah. And you know what? It doesn't even have to be an adult because I've
Yeah,
talked to
yeah.
kids, teenagers, elderly,
Hmm,
and it's the
hmm,
same thing. It's the same thing.
hmm.
And kids and teenagers and elderly, especially,
Yeah,
because it's like nobody has time for them.
yeah.
The kids and the teenagers, what would they know? They're just growing up. They have no feelings. They don't understand
Hmm,
because they haven't
hmm,
hit real life yet.
hmm,
And the elderly, nobody has time because there's a
hmm.
lot of other stuff that needs to be done.
I used
But
to
if you just,
speaking of,
yeah, you take the time to just sit down and listen to them, and they'll pour their hearts out to you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you know what? You learn from them.
Oh,
You
100%.
learn
Yeah.
from them. And it feels so good, to sit down and talk to them and, you know, just make sure they're okay. Make sure that, they're validated, their feelings are validated, that they're people just like everybody else. And it changes people. It changes
Oh,
the way,
yeah.
it gives them hope.
I was gonna say, yeah, it gives them hope and it gives them a little bit of motivation too. I mean, with my experience, I used to work in nursing homes, and I was a home health nurse actually here in Texas. Right when I first moved here,
Hmm.
I ended up and that's how I learned my way around here because I started working for this home health agency, and a lot of my patients were veterans, older veterans, and elderly, so a lot of geriatric patients. And I had to like they gave us at least an hour to an hour and a half with each patient at times. I literally there was times where I had to spread out my time to see them because they knew I was coming or they knew that somebody was going to check up on them, and they can talk for hours. And it
Yeah,
was so sad. It was so sad to learn that a lot of like their own kids or family members don't really have the time
yeah,
or don't take the time to see them. And or when they're passing, like I actually just not that long ago, actually. I was working at a nursing home here because I used to pick up shifts on the side too. Um, I was working at a nursing home and this patient actually passed away. He was an elderly patient. Throughout the times that I would pick up shifts there, I've never seen anyone visit this poor man, older man. Come to find out, the day he was passing, or the time that he was passing, well, we had to let the family members know what's going on, and they're more than welcome to come to the nursing home and be there. Um, so of course, all of their kids or family members would come and they would be there, but they were all arguing about their estate or the patient's estate. I'm like,
oh
um,
wow.
your
¿Para qué les
father is,
hablaba?
I know for real. Like it pissed me off. I'm like, you know what? In my mind, I'm like, man, just go away. Like he does not need to hear this
Right.
whatsoever. Like it's just, but yeah, there's
It's
gonna be,
sad.
it is, it really is. Like it was so, like working at nursing homes and with a lot of elderly patients, like it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And it also changed my perspective in life too, because granted, I don't know what had happened between them or if there was like some type of beef or some type anything, but at the same time, this person is older. They're probably gonna be dying there, let's be honest. And what is it that you're still angry about
Hmm.
before getting to that point? Like is there anything that you can try to forgive? Is there anything that you can talk about not only for yourself, but for that person who's pretty much in a nursing home and is not gonna get out whatsoever until their deathbed? So it's like that also was part of my healing journey when I first started my healing journey, because I would think to myself like, wow, if I keep this up, I'm probably going to be one of those people who are going to be in a nursing home and they probably won't even visit me.
Oh God.
Like would play all of these scenarios in mind. And I'm like, because I'm too busy working, I don't really have time for anybody. And I'm just working myself to death. And um and like I would just think about like, is this life? Is this it? Like it was all that was the initial instance of my healing journey. But yeah, honestly, it really changes your perspective working with older
Yeah,
patient or older people.
yeah.
Sidetrack. That was a whole,
I know. No, but you know what? Pero de todas maneras, it's true. O sea,
but yeah,
when you sit down and get to know people and get to know their heart, and see them for who they are, regardless
yeah,
of the mistakes. I mean, yeah, there's going to be people who are way deep into whatever, they've done. We're
yeah.
talking about like violence and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, but most of the time you can still talk to those people. Like
Hmm.
they'll still
Hmm.
have a conversation with you, you know? I
Hmm.
mean, you probably won't be able to get as deep a convo as if it was like an elderly or, somebody who's made, other types of mistakes. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can still, talk to them and, kind of understand, where they're coming from,
Hmm.
you know? I mean, it sucks that they probably didn't have somebody like we talked about that motivate them, or, they let the way they grew up, keep going on in their adult uh life. But
Life. Hmm.
yeah, but it doesn't mean that everybody has a bad heart.
Yeah.
They just choose to continue being that way.
Hmm. Yeah.
Then it's hard to get out of that. Mentally, it's hard. I mean,
Oh,
it's just like, well, not to compare, but it is hard to get out of depression. It's hard to get
hmm.
out of anxiety. It's like you have to do the work.
Yeah.
So
And you have
having
to
to
choose
and you have to
every
choose to,
day,
yeah,
every day
to
to
continue doing
not
it.
be that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard, it's a lot easier when they've already told you and fed you all the lies, because they were
Yeah.
stressed, or they weren't taught. And so you lived a many years, that way. And then having to change is hard.
Yeah.
Just like an alcoholic, you were an alcoholic for 20 years and you can't stop de un día a otro. I mean, granted, God does miracles, but
Yeah.
most of the time it takes a while,
Hmm. Yeah.
and so it, it is what it is. It's just we just need to be a little bit more human, and see people for who they are and where they're coming from, without judgment. And if they're ready to heal, then hey, we're here for you. you know
Yes.
we can help with that,
Yes. And
at least to get you
root for you.
and root for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, yeah, at least to get started. And you ready to face everything and say, hey, I'm tired of you know being a fight or fight. I want to move on and be
Yeah.
happy and actually be me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because other and I'm going to repeat it, like always, if you don't break the cycle now, it will continue with your kids, because your kids see how you deal with stress. They see how you deal with anger. They see how you deal with the happiness, with excitement. They see what you're doing.
Hmm.
They don't hear it, they see it. So that's what you're teaching them. So you got to teach them how to handle certain situations. But in order to do that, you got to heal yourself, because most of the time we're just reacting to whatever's triggering us.
Yeah. I also want to I also want to ask the question, would you want your kids to repeat the same cycles you're repeating? Would you want them to see what you're doing, how your relationships with other people are, how it can be family members, heck, it can even be your significant other. Do you want them to mimic what you're doing? Would you be proud of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's something that we can always ask. I mean, I ask myself that question all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have kids, but when the time does come, like, I want them to learn from us in a whole different state, like a
Yeah.
whole different state. Like, I want them to have the ability to come to us. I mean, because we
Yeah.
didn't have that ability to go to our parents. Heck no, we were so scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was terrified. I was always terrified to just even talk to my parents about anything.
Yeah.
And and I knew I just didn't want to repeat a lot of the cycles that they were repeating. And sometimes we have to ask those questions because sometimes our parents won't even see it as a wrongdoing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you deep down you know it's time to change, deep down you know it's time to grow, it's time to heal, but you're really resisting it and you do not want to change because you know it's uncomfortable and you do not want to do the work, it's going to affect you in other ways.
Yeah.
And it's going to
Yeah.
come out in ways that you never expected will come out.
Yeah. And maybe your kids will have to deal with that and you'll have to
Yeah.
explain to them why.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
So,
it's even worse.
yeah. I mean, are you ready to have that conversation with your child?
Yeah.
Because they're going to grow up thinking that it's okay to live that way. They're going to grow up thinking that it's okay to treat people that way. They're going to grow up and think, oh, well, it's okay. I mean, my dad hits my mom or my mom hits my dad. Like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
something that you want to continue, or drug use if you're drinking or smoking or doing some type of drugs in front of your children? Like, is that something that you would be okay seeing your child do?
Yeah. Or talk to each other in a disrespectful way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah. And you know what? Right now that you were saying, do you want your children to see that or grow up with that? I remember when I was getting my panic attacks,
Hmm.
the only one who saw me with panic attacks who was there was my middle child. And she's always the calm one, and she's always the one who's always thinking, and she's the quiet one. And I remember I would get a panic attack, and she knew right away. And she looked at me, and she would come to her. She wouldn't say a word. She would come to her room. She would grab a fidget toy, and she would take it to me, and she says, "Here's a fidget toy." But I remember after my panic attacks, I would cry, and I would cry because I did not want her to worry about me. I
Yeah.
didn't want this. I don't want that to be a normal. Like, I don't want her growing up and having to look at me and say, "Oh, she's having a panic attack again. I got to make sure she's okay." Because I feel like I'm still young. I'm still young. And, for her to have to grow up taking care of her mom because her mom did not want to face reality, you know, of what is going on with her within her, why would she have to, cargar con los platos rotos?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
okay. And she was younger. I mean, she's 15 now, but back then, she was what, 12, 13 years old. And I didn't want her to grow up like that.
Yeah.
Any of my kids,
Yeah.
because they're watching.
Hmm.
And so now, and I use that too. I mean, I use that example with me of me towards them, and I tell them, "Hey, heal. If I
Yeah.
ever do anything," and they know, and I've always told them, "If I make you feel a certain way, if I do not, or you don't agree with something that I tell you, please communicate with me. Please tell
Hmm.
me, hey, mom, you know what? I didn't like this." Or, "Hey, mom, you know what? I felt disrespected." Or, and they're very good at it. They're very good at telling me, "You know what? I don't like that." Or if they're not ready, they'll say, "I'll talk to you in a little bit. Just give me some time." And yeah, I say, okay. And I respect their boundary. Hour, 2 hours later, they come, "You know what? I did not agree with this, and I didn't like the way you answered, or I felt this way." And um, sometimes I do apologize because maybe it wasn't the reaction that they were waiting for or they deserved. But when I'm wrong, I apologize. Why? Because I'm teaching them, hey, if you make a mistake, you got to correct it. And,
Hmm.
you got to say you're sorry. And it's not my kids, it's not them walking all over me. It's no, it's them not growing up with trauma.
Yeah.
It's them knowing, that when they make a mistake, they have to own up to it and apologize
Yeah.
because it's hard. I mean, I never knew how
Yeah.
to apologize.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
Yeah.
and I cry, I still cry sometimes. Remember the other day I went off on my husband for something that had nothing to do with him. He solved my problem and I felt like he didn't. And I was so upset because, again, just because we go through healing journeys doesn't mean you are perfect. It doesn't mean you're
No,
never
no.
gonna, nothing's gonna trigger you. No, it happens, but
Hmm.
it's not as often,
Yeah.
but it does happen. And at night, I talked to him. Yo muy indignada. He came home and I was like, I'm not talking to you. But then, I sat down and I thought to myself, I asked him to solve a problem and he gave me the solution and I still went off on him. And I was like, but I didn't listen. Like I
Yeah.
shut down. So I sat down and I thought about it for a bit and I prayed and I meditated. And then I went to my husband and I looked at him, he was laying down already, and I looked at him and I go, I'm sorry. And he's like, what? I was like, I messed up. And I started crying. And he's like, no, 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 no llores, no llores. And I go, I just felt so bad because
Yeah.
you realize like, oh, crap, I messed up and it was
Yeah.
bad. And he's like, no, don't cry. And he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. Like, you did not deserve that. And he was just like, no, no te preocupes. But, and it's hard, it's hard to apologize
Yeah.
when you did not grow up doing that, when you didn't see that. It was just kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
you messed up. Oh, okay. And then it was just like, no te crea. They start joking instead of actually owning up to
Yeah.
the mistake, or you just kind of like sweep it under the rug and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so trying to go back and apologize. And that's something, why? Because my kids are watching.
Hmm.
My kids are watching, so I need to set that example for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important. It's important to take accountability. It's important to acknowledge your mistakes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you were spot on. We didn't see anybody actually apologize for anything. It was just, okay, it's done, and then on to the next, or
Yeah.
the silent treatment, and later on, ¿tienes hambre? It's like, what?
Yeah. Or ya mañana se le pasa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's another day tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it's something that it was never discussed. And yeah, it's hard. It really is hard now that I'm thinking about it. When I started actually taking accountability and saying sorry instead of just doing a silent treatment or just brushing it off, like no, it builds up internally.
Yeah.
It builds up internally and until that day you explode and it's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. But it's a process. And as long as now we know, we can pinpoint it,
Hmm.
we can take accountability for it.
Hmm.
And then you can really move on, because otherwise it keeps coming up and coming up and coming up and it was never
Yes.
taken care of.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really big. So sister, it's always so healing.
I know it's like you're so busy with your personal life that when you actually take the time to sit down and just have a conversation, like a
Yeah.
non-judgmental conversation, and just to say whatever it is that you want to say from the bottom of your heart, or how deep it can be, or how light-hearted it can be. Like it's just always refreshing. It's always refreshing and it's so healing. And we need this. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
probably think, oh no, I don't like people, or I don't like talking to people. I'd rather be in my own circle or in my own house or room. Like I don't want to go out. But sometimes getting out of that shell or getting out of that comfort and actually talking to other people, you realize, wow, I needed this. Or wow,
Yeah.
like this is something I just solved a problem that I was having and I didn't realize I was having that problem. And or ideas start coming to you, like creativity starts coming to you, like just a lot of stuff starts coming to you when you're actually talking to people who are genuine about whatever conversation you're carrying.
Yeah.
And in a not, of course, in a non-judgmental way, because there's no yelling, there's no fighting, there's no arguing, there's no, it's just I see you for who you are, and accepting you for who you are. So it's
Yeah.
and it's when it's reciprocated, like you can talk about anything and everything, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. So you know what? Talking about that, just to finish off, let us know. Let us know, you guys. If you guys are interested, we'll build a community to where we can
Mhm,
get together.
mhm.
I don't know, once every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever it is. Give us whatever works for you. We'll sit down, have a conversation like this, and
Yeah.
take some time and maybe even start some healing or just to listen, of whatever's going on and decompress
Hmm.
of life.
Yeah.
So all our listeners, if you guys have any if you guys are interested and to join our community, and we can get something together and start some cafecito, some chismecito.
Yes.
Or just to start talking about what hurts us, or
Mhm.
how we can get out of that routine we're in, or just things like that. I think that would be very helpful, and would help a lot of people out.
Yeah, and it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and we get to know other
Hmm.
people
Hmm.
from other places, and
Yeah.
you know and that's always amazing, to connect
Hmm.
and socialize.
Yes, that would be that's definitely something that we've been talking about. So if this something that you're also interested in, let us know, and we'll start building a community, and we'll let you know where you can sign up. And we'll probably do virtual for now, and then eventually work our way up to probably doing like a little group event or something later on. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so it would be something like this for now, and see where it takes us. I'll list everything down below on our description box. I'll have our email, our social medias, platforms. I'll have everything in links. That way, it's just easier for you to just click and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to our podcast, please subscribe and give us a rating. We would really, really appreciate it. Share this podcast with anybody who needs it. And as always, sending a bunch of love and light to you all. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.